Hello, my name is Dennis Drager, and I am a senior futurist with Shaping Tomorrow. Today, we're going to do a steep analysis for this week's trend alert on trade and commerce. For those who don't know, STEEP stands for social, technological, economic, environmental, and political. And ideally, we want to look at each of these domains both internally and externally. So in other words, we want to know how each of these domains are affecting your industry or organization. And we also want to know how your organization or industry is affecting each of these domains. All right. So what this does is it gives us an idea of where exactly your organization or industry is situated within the global economy as a whole and within the entire global system. But it also gives us a wider perspective of the future for your organization or industry. So let's start with social. While the coronavirus pandemic has brought about a behavioral shift among shoppers, so a Nielsen survey suggests 93% of consumers around the world will now consider buying online. The global economic recession is clouding the outlook for cross-border e-commerce businesses. Also, threats of food insecurity had provoked civil unrest around the world, and countries that had long been considered food secure were facing the threat of limited food imports as a result of restrictions put in place by some food exporting countries. Now, technology. So rather than a source of competition, retailers will start to see brick and mortar online as one unified channel, which is what a lot of stores are already beginning to do. The UK is set to be the global leader in the creation, adoption, and export of advanced digital technologies by 2030, and as a result, will help shape how the modern world does business. All right, economically, so China's ballooning levels of debt are creating credit risks that have the potential to destabilize the global economy. And with a combined market of over 1.2 billion people, which is expected to grow to 2.5 billion by 2050, and a GDP of $2.5 trillion, the African Continental Free Trade Area could potentially make Africa the largest free trade area in the world since the formation of the World Trade Organization. Now, looking at the environment, as we enter into a historic decade of action to halt and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030 and address climate change, business has a critical role to play in environmental stewardship of our planet. Also, the World Bank estimates that an additional 28 million people could be forced into extreme poverty by 2050 because of the shortfalls in economic output unless antimicrobial resistance is contained. Now, looking at the political issues, any future conflict in the South China Sea will likely have significant disruptive effects on global commerce. Also, the threat of protectionism and economic fragmentation continues to hang over global trade. All right, so those are the forecasts. Now let's take a look at some of the questions that we need to be asking ourselves at the moment. So first off, is the world moving towards deglobalization in the wake of the COVID-19 crisis? What are the emerging and transformative technologies that will be key to your post-COVID economic and social recovery? How can Europe and the rest of the world make the needed climate mitigation policies growth-friendly to support the economic recovery? And what can countries do to mitigate the devastating effects of the lack of international tourism during and after the COVID-19 pandemic? All right, well, thank you very much for your time today. That's my summary for our trend alert on trade and commerce. Be sure to see the whole trend alert by clicking the link below. Thank you.